new Space Monkey robot movie that just came out. Do you want to see it with me?
Yeah, for sure. Let me see if Ray's free. I think the others are studying for this huge exam, but I think she's free.
Okay, sure.
Let me put you in three-way.
What do you want, Meatballhead?
All right. So me and Hatara were thinking about seeing a movie tonight and wanted to know if you want to come with.
Yeah, sure. What time?
I was thinking around 4.
Yeah, that should work. Works for me.
Great.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Ami's calling me. Hold on, y'all.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Ami. How's studying going?
Forget studying. We have a huge situation happening over here in Central Square. Queen Beryl somehow has returned and is unleashing a theory of terror and destruction. We're gonna need some help over here.
Okay, let me tell the others. I'm on it.
Okay, hurry.
Will do. Ray.
Hataru, we have a huge problem on our hands. Queen Beryl is back at it again.
Oh no!
Are you serious?
As serious as cereal.
Come on, let's go.
Got it.
Welcome back to my channel. So I don't know if you can guess what today's theme is. I'm gonna give you a second. It's Sailor Moon. So of the very highly requested videos, cosplay videos seem to be the most in demand, and I absolutely love cosplaying, and I feel like I haven't done enough cosplaying themed videos. So consider this kind of the introduction to the many cosplay videos to come, especially for the summer, because I'm so excited and I have so much fabric. I wanted this to kind of reflect a little, you know, black girl magic, and so of course I had to go ahead and add a little Kanekalon into it. So, and y'all, I'm just gonna show you the outfit really quickly up close and personal. And I am just absolutely in love with this outfit, and I cannot even begin to describe how much fun this whole process was. I made this outfit, and I also helped my friend Jess, as you'll see, who was Sailor Saturn, make her outfit as well. And so just kind of getting back into the whole spirit of cosplay was just so refreshing. So please, if you have any other ideas, totally. I don't know too much about anime and manga, but I'm always open to learning new things, and I just love just that culture. And so for this video, I think I'm going to divide it into 2 parts. I'm going to show you how I made the hair, and then I'm also going to show you how I made the costume. It is not perfect in any way, but I am proud of it, so I hope that you all enjoy it. But hold up, you should hit that subscribe button real quick and the bell button so you get notified when I post new content. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell button and follow me on Instagram as well as Snapchat if you want to kind of get a behind the scenes look at how I plan my costumes and projects and DIYs and whatnot. Alright, y'all, I love you. Bye. Alright, y'all, so before we get started, I want to show you the inspiration behind this costume. This is by the artist Halalela. I hope I'm saying that right, but I will link their DeviantArt below so you can go check them out because they are amazing. So materials wise, you're going to need a white leotard, some white gloves, some stretchy red fabric, some non-stretch shiny red fabric, some stretchy white fabric, some iridescent clear fabric, some shiny blue fabric, and you're going to need 1/4 inch of white ribbon. You're also going to need some straight pins, some cotton or stuffing, scissors, pinking shears, a tape measure, a glue gun, and of course your sewing machine. So quite a few things, but in addition you'll need a red ribbon, white felt, craft foam, velcro, an iron, ruler,
and chalk. Now we're going to get into measurements. The first measurement is you're going to measure the top of your hips. Now you can measure your waist, but really we want this to lie on the top of our hips as you see in the picture, because what we'll do is we'll create a belt that will hide the seams and whatnot and give it that V shape. Now first things first, I'm going to go ahead and take my tape measure, which magically changed colors, and I'm going to measure the top of my waist, or the top of my hips rather, which is 35 inches. Now you're going to measure the desired length of your skirt. So starting from the top of my hips, I measured down about 13 inches, adding 1 inch of seam allowance. So a total of 14 inches. Now you're going to multiply the hip measurement by 3. Mine was 35 inches times 3, which is 105. And then adding 2 inches for seam allowance is 107. You're going to divide that number by 2, so 107 divided by 2 is 53.5 inches. Therefore, I'll have 2 rectangles that are both 53.5 inches wide and 14 inches long. So as you see here, I have my fabric doubled up already, and I actually cut it to the 14 inches a little bit later, as you'll see in the video. But then I go ahead and measure out 53.5 inches, and then I just cut that, so that I have 2 rectangles again that are the 53.5 inches in length, I believe, or is it width? Width, yeah. And I actually had folded in half, so I just cut along the edge just so that it was 2 identical rectangles. Now to create box pleats, you want to first mark your seam allowance on both sides. So it's 1 inch on both sides. Remember, we designated 2 inch seam allowance. And then you're going to measure 3 inches from those 1 inch seam allowance marks. So I've also created this diagram to kind of show you all exactly what I mean. So you have your 1 inch seam allowance on either side, and then you're going to mark from there 3 inches each, or like 3 inch sections straight across. And you're going to make sure that you do this for both of your rectangles. Now you see what I'm doing right here. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and measure my 1 inch all the way down. And I did that to the other side as well. And then from that 1 inch mark, I'm going to mark out 3 inches from there. And using my chalk, I'll just go ahead and chalk that real quick. And then from there, I'm going to mark 3 inches from that 3 inch point, or previous 3 inch point. So not to be confusing, but really all you're doing is just making 3 inches of space, or 3 inch sections all the way across. Now, here comes the fun part, making the box pleats. First, what you want to do is take the 1 inch seam allowance point and pin it to the first mark that you made from where the 3 inches start. Now you're going to take this other mark, so on the other side, and bring that in to meet the first mark, or where your seam allowance is. So essentially you just want these 2 marks to be touching. Now basically, to create box pleats, it's just you're alternating, so you're bringing 1 fold in and 1 fold in, and they have to just be touching and whatnot. So bring 1 fold into the center mark, and then you're going to bring the next fold in also to that same center mark. I bet y'all can hear the ice cream truck outside. So super embarrassing, but whatever. So I hope this is not too confusing. I'll try to be as detailed as possible. But if at all that you get confused, just pause the video. And I believe you can actually change the speed of the video so that you can learn at your own pace and whatnot. But super simple, y'all. Just keep pointing or just keep folding towards a center mark, and then bring the other side to that same mark. And then just keep going, rotating, alternating, and whatnot. And do this for both rectangles. So this is what the completed rectangles will look like once they're all folded and box pleated in. So basically I'm just going to go ahead and give it a quick iron just so that those pleats are really crisp and nice and whatnot. So make sure you lay another fabric over top of it so it doesn't burn the fabric. And then what I do first and foremost, I actually attach both rectangles together and making sure that the right sides are touching each other and the wrong sides are facing outwards. So that way when you open it up, it has a nice clean seam. And so it should look like this. And then I just went ahead and sew down all of the raw edges and whatnot so that everything was just nicely hemmed and even and whatnot. At least to the best of my ability. So now what I'm gonna do, because I'm super lazy and this was like 3 a.m. in the morning, I actually velcroed my skirt together. So so this is just like a cheat sheet if you all just don't have time, you know, you're going to a Comic-Con or a Otakon or whatnot the next day and you ain't got time to put in a zipper. So go ahead and, you know, get you some Velcro and go ahead and glue it real quick to one side. So yeah, so basically I glued one piece to the, I guess you would call it the good side, the shiny side, and just at the very edge. And then I just made sure that it matched up to the other piece when I put it on the wrong side of the other edge. So you can see here the right edge, and then one side has the piece of Velcro on the wrong side, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I'm repeating myself, but sure. So yeah, there you have it. All right, nobody's gonna know, like, it's cool. Just don't go anywhere that's like super windy or not. All right, so now that we've completed our skirt, we're gonna move forward now to the belt portion, which is gonna give us that V shape. I'm now gonna use the stretchy white fabric, and I'm gonna just use the measurements of the top of my hips, which was 35 inches, and it's gonna be about 2 inches thick. So just taking this measuring, this ruler and whatnot, and you're just gonna go ahead and, oh, now somebody's eating chips in the background, huh? So anyway, you're just gonna go ahead and measure out however long your, or, you know, wide and whatnot your waist was, and then make it 2 inches high or 2 inches thick. And you're gonna go ahead and sew all the way around, just leaving a opening for where you're gonna put the stuffing into. And then you're just gonna carefully stuff everything in using just a handful of stuffing, and it should look like this. I actually kind of cut the edges to make like points and give it more of a V kind of shape, and of course using our magic Velcro to act as a belt fastener and whatnot. Alright, so now we're gonna move upward to the torso, and we're gonna be working on the cowl. And so I've already kind of pre-drafted my own pattern, but there are tons of, you know, YouTube videos on how to make this, funny enough. I just kind of did it on my, you know, just winged it and whatnot, but this is kind of what it looks like. But I will link down below where you can find a great tutorial on how to make one of these. Or rather, just the pattern if you are interested. But I gave it a quick iron because, you know, I like everything pristine and crisp. And then basically what I'm doing is I'm just tracing out the pattern onto my blue shiny fabric, and again the fabric is inside out where the wrong sides are facing up and the right sides are touching. And now I didn't actually have a lot of fabric to do this, despite the fact that I thought I did, but so I ended up having to put the cowl, like create a seam along the middle of the cowl, as you'll see a little bit later. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and just cut everything out using my pinking shears. And if y'all don't know why I like to use pinking shears rather than regular scissors, it's because it gives it a crisp, like clean edge, especially with fabrics that are really susceptible to fraying and whatnot. Alright, so now I'm gonna go ahead and just pin it along the one side, so we're along the seam. And before I take it to the sewing machine, this is what it's gonna look like when you sew everything down. So you can see exactly that shape. But before I take it to the sewing machine, I'm gonna go ahead and do my little notch method. This is how I hem anything that has a rounded edge and whatnot. It just makes it easier, cleaner, nicer, and just, it just saves lives. So you just kind of create these little triangles. So you cut little triangles into your fabric, and that will allow you to easily fold your fabric so that you can hem it and whatnot. So yeah. And then of course my assistant Jess was over because we were working on her costume and my costume, and then she just went ahead and pinned everything down, and then afterwards I took it to the sewing machine and just sewed it up. Now using our 1/4 inch ribbon, I'm gonna go ahead and pin it down, and it also helps to kind of have like a mannequin of some sort to kind of lay this, but if you don't have one, don't worry, just lay everything flat and just carefully take your time and just pin the white ribbon to the edge of your cowl to give it that little design that you know, that schoolgirl kind of design and whatnot. So yeah, I feel like I say whatnot so many times, but it's cool. Alright, and then once I did that, because I also don't really trust myself with intricate sewing, I just went ahead and hot glued the ribbon to the cowl, because it just made it so much easier and faster, and it just was not crusty. Like, if I had sewn it, y'all, it would have been over. Alright, so that's what everything looks like, all nice and pristine. And now we're gonna work on the bow. And so real talk, y'all, I really didn't do anything except make the square or the rectangle rather. So we're going to be using that shiny red fabric, and just make sure that your wrong sides, so the non-shiny part, are facing outwards. And the fabric or the measurements in all were 26 by 10 inches. And so I just went ahead and folded that down, and then just pinned it along the sides, and I just made sure to leave a tiny little opening for us to be able to turn it inside out. I also had some extra fabric, so of course, or you're also gonna definitely need some extra fabric because you also need to make the front bow. So this is just slightly smaller than the back bow. So I would say it's the same 10 inches, but probably not 26, probably like 20, 30 or something like that. So Jess was the one that mainly did this part because I'm really like not good at this. So she basically just crisscrossed it kind of pretzel style and just pinned it in the middle, or rather actually took a needle and thread and just threaded it, you know, through the middle, and this kind of creates some ruching. And she just tied the thread around it, so it just kind of bunched everything up and, you know, made it look like a bow. So yeah, that's basically magic to me. It's funny because like I know how to sew, I just really small things like this just bother me. So this is why she was helping me, because I have no patience. And then now what you see her doing is she's just creating a nice little finished center. So basically she's taking some scrap fabric and she's just gluing that down. And then she's just gonna carefully place that onto the center of the bow. And this just makes it nice and clean and neat and whatnot. And then she's just gonna glue the back just to seal everything in. Oh, I think she burned herself. Oh, I'm sorry, girl. Oh well. But yeah, so basically all to attach these, I just use one big safety pin for the back and the front. And yeah, shout out to Jess for making this. Oh yeah, she thinks she's cute. Sure. Anyway, she also helped me make the brooch in the front. So basically all she did was use fun foam and played around with it. I unfortunately did not capture that on camera, but she used a brooch pin to secure that. All right, now we're gonna move on to the gloves and the cuffs. This was probably my favorite part because I just was very happy that this all worked out the way it had planned. So anyway, so I'm gonna take the measurement of my arm. So that's 10 inches, and I'm adding half an inch of seam allowance. And then I'm gonna be using that stretchy red fabric. So I'm gonna measure out 10.5 inches. So once I've created a rectangle that is 10.5 inches, I'm gonna go ahead and place that on top of the fabric again. So that's creating 2 pieces, and then I'm gonna do this a third and then a fourth time. So altogether I'll have 4 rectangles that are all 10.5 inches. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to lay them on top of one another. And then just like before with the bows, I'm going to pin everything and then just sew it down, leaving just a little bit of an opening so that we can put our stuffing in. So I just take that to the sewing machine, and I believe I'm actually using a zigzag stitch because stretch fabric, you want to use a stitch that will allow it to, you know, obviously stretch. So yeah, that is what it looks like. And I'm gonna take my stuffing, my cotton, and I'm gonna put that inside and just stuff it up, but not too much. You still want it to be able to be like moved around your arm and whatnot. And then basically what I did was I marked out about 1 inch 1 inch darts or lines and whatnot using the straight pins, and then I just sewed along that line or that guide, and I just sewed 2 lines going straight down, so it created 3 sections. I'm super bad at explaining things, y'all, but you get the point. Alright, so then I'm gonna go ahead and just sew down this edge just to close it up. And so this is what it will look like, minus me holding it together. So yeah, this is what it will look like once everything's sewed down. So yeah, nice and clean and cute. I was so happy, y'all. I was like playing with this the whole day. It's just so fun and puffy and cute. So yeah, we did that. All right, cool. So now we're gonna move on to our, I believe, what is this? Yeah, we're gonna go up and be moving on towards our shoulders. So this was probably the most challenging part. Not really. The skirt was probably the most challenging part, but this one was just like time consuming for no reason. But yeah, so basically I created a pattern, and what I did was I cut out a semicircle, just cutting along a corner of some, grocery paper, newspaper, whatnot. And I just kind of created this semicircle shape. So it almost kind of looks like a sleeve, because it is a sleeve. And I just took it to my mannequin to see if I liked the length and everything, made sure if I wanted to keep it that way, but I ended up kind of cutting it because it was a little too long. And now I'm going to transfer that pattern onto my iridescent fabric. And this fabric's actually doubled down, so you want to have 2 pieces of each. And this is what I ended up doing. So after I cut it down the first time, I moved the pattern a little ways up to make it a little bit longer the second time, and then a little bit longer the third time. So altogether, you're going to have 6 pieces and 2 of each varying lengths. So there's 1 really big piece, 1 medium-sized piece, and then 1 small piece, as you can see. Now, what I did is I took some white fun foam. And I don't know if y'all call this craft foam or fun. I call it fun foam. But anyway, so I just cut out 2 skinny rectangles. And this is going to act kind of as like a shoulder support kind of thing. So it gives it its shape and makes it more of a sleeve, like a rounded sleeve, instead of just like fabric flopping on your shoulder and whatnot. And so I take one of the rectangles and I just simply glue the longest piece down. And then I take the next piece and I glue that down over top of it, kind of staggering it a little bit further back. And actually, I think what I did is I started off with the shortest piece and then I ended with the longest piece. Yeah, so that's probably what I did. Because now these are looking a little like one shorter than the other. Anyway, it's all clear fabric to me. I can't see anything. So yeah, so you're gonna just glue them down staggered in a staggered position. And then you see that you have all of your pieces together, and you're gonna reinforce that with the second rectangle and just glue that to underneath the first rectangle. And now we're just going to cut off a little bit of the excess, because we're actually going to use that little excess and sew that, or rather attach that to the sleeve. And I did take this through the sewing machine and it was rough, so just take your time, y'all. And if you need to give yourself a little bit more like leeway, do so before you cut off too much of the excess fabric. Okay, so now we're gonna move up to the accessories, the fun and easy and quick part, which I did last, because it was, again, at this point, I think it was 5 o'clock in the morning, because I don't love myself. No, it was a really long night. Anyway, so I'm gonna do my tiara, And basically it is just a winged V shape. It's almost like a flying bird. You know, in like elementary school how you used to draw those like birds in the sunset in the distance. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's kind of like that. So basically I just took this little gemstone and then just glued it to the center, and I actually used eyelash glue to stick it to my forehead, and it worked. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I made my little moon necklace. I just basically traced out a circle using a spool of thread, and I kind of skip like ahead. I show you the ribbon I use, which is a Bath and Body Works ribbon. Hey, look, use what you got. That's all I'm saying. And then we're going to take our trusty, you know, handy dandy Velcro, because that's going to attach things. And like before, one side to the right side and then the other side to the wrong side. So yeah, you get the point. So I put it on after gluing it down, and I just marked the center for where I'm going to glue my little crescent moon. So taking that piece initially that we cut out, that circle piece, I'm just going to go ahead and use the side of the spool of thread to kind of create that semi or that crescent moon shape. So it just kind of gives me like a nice rounded edge. And so there you have it. And y'all, this is like my favorite little accessory. Like if I could just make and wear crescent moon, anything and everything, I will. And for the earrings, I did the same thing, same method. I just glued down these studs, which I got off of eBay for super cheap. And yeah, that all worked out, so it was awesome. And to make the little feather things in her hair, I used some stiffened felt and attached Velcro, of course. And then for the bulbs, I actually just cut a red ball in half and attached it to, hot glued it to some fun foam, and then added some white embellishments. And then you can also settle for like a 2D effect like this using just fun foam. Alright y'all, and there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this. Check out my tutorial as to how I made the hair, which was also super fun and tedious to some extent. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And definitely hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, and all my social media. And I will see you soon. I love you all. Bye.